It is day 10 of the Rio Olympic Games, and over the weekend there was no shortage of excitement from the world's top athletes. Simone Biles was among the athletes who helped Team USA extend its lead in the overall medal count.
And the spotlight went from the pool to track and field, and in particular a man dubbed the fastest man on earth. Dana Jacobson, the fastest correspondent on earth.
I thought you were going to say I'm the fastest woman on earth.
No, that would be out of
order.
lie.
It would be a lie, is what it would be.
She is here to talk about all the highlights. Good to see you, Dana.
You too.
So, Ryan Lochte and three teammates from the swim team were robbed at gunpoint early Sunday morning by people posing as police officers.
Right.
Let's talk about the situation. What's your reaction?
Well, everybody was warned. We did stories, every news outlet did stories going into the Rio Games about the safety there. If you look online, you see a lot of videos that have sort of questioned what the safety is like, and we haven't heard a lot. We've heard a few incidents. We've heard about gunshots going into some tents and also at a media bus. But an incident like this, I think, sort of reawakened this idea that people need to be careful out there. And watching a lot of the people that were reporting from Rio over the weekend, they all said, we were told to take precautions. Lochte and his teammates are very lucky to be in the situation they're in. He said at first, he didn't take them seriously. I hadn't done anything, so I'm not getting on the ground. Fortunately, then he did. It's difficult, from what I understand, to get transportation late at night after events. So they wanted to go out after the event. You're looking at an Uber or a taxi cab, which is a situation they're in, and that's not as much of a controlled environment as I'm sure the Olympic Committee would like it to be. So it's sort of raising the awareness as we're in this final week for all the athletes and really all the visitors that are out there too.
Yeah, let us go back to the fastest man on the planet, Usain Bolt. Third straight gold for the 100-meter sprint. I saw this great photo of him where he's in the middle of the race and everyone's running and they've got this grueling facial expression. He's like far ahead, smiling at the camera. Like it's a breeze for him.
I mean, his semifinal, I was watching that last night. It was unreal. Like, he just clicks into a gear that nobody else has. And in the final, Justin Gatlin certainly challenged him, got off to a better start. But there is something in Bolt that we've watched year after year where the only way I can describe it is it's just that next gear. I thought it was interesting that he's talked about why the Jamaican sprinters do so well, both men and women's side. And he was explaining how there, and if anybody was watching the coverage last night, they saw what he is like, what it's like for him in Jamaica. He is a superstar.
Yeah.
For them, think of our NFL stars, our NBA stars. That is sprinters in Jamaica, and it starts at a young age, so they're competing in front of audiences like this for their entire lives. They know what that pressure's like. If that helps in any way, there's the physical side that I cannot explain. But if that helps just mentally, he has it, and he just looks like he's still having so much fun.
I know. U.S. sprinter Justin Gatlin, he took home the silver, but there was some boos from the crowd. Explain why.
Well, Justin Gatlin is one of those members who has been caught up in doping scandals before, and that sort of looms large over the minds of many people as to whether or not he should still be here. Obviously, we have the doping scandal with the Russian team, Russian track and field, where now only one member will compete, and I think that hangs over this community, and that is why he has a great relationship with Usain Bolt that we've seen over the past few years play out at different times. If you can say it's a rivalry, even though Bolt certainly gets the better of him, it is a rivalry, and I think at least in that heat, in that final, they were okay with everything going on, but the crowd certainly was not.
All right, so I guess non-USA people can make it, right? So we have a South African Olympian who broke, set the world record for the 400 meters and actually broke Michael Johnson's record.
Yeah, Wade Van Niekerk, if I'm saying it right.
I skipped saying it. I'll let you do that.
I'm trying. Well, I was like, what? Yeah, Van Niekerk. So this is just a great story coming from South Africa, and I thought it was interesting that they portrayed it as this is this post-apartheid group of young men and women who are
Rainbow generation.
Yeah, they are making a statement for their country. He has a coach, a 70-year-old woman who has been his coach. He wins for her. He wins for his mother, who was an outstanding athlete during her time, but because of apartheid, couldn't compete. And then you think about the Michael Johnson era. For me, that's what I remember so well. I remember watching him in a time trial in Sacramento. No one was going to beat him. His world record goes down to this young man who, when you saw him go out of there in lane 8, nobody wins from lane 8. Nobody ever has before, and he went out and did it. It was really amazing to watch.
It is. And this Olympics has been an amazing, I mean, we're sort of coming up to the last week now, but there have been so many great stories, including one of my favorite, Simone Biles. She won her third gold of the Rio Olympics in the vault, could win 2 more medals at these games. Beam, floor exercise on Tuesday.
Yeah.
she's just, she's just amazing.
She's incredible. So I think last week you guys aired the piece about the vault of death.
Yes. Yeah,
the vault of death couldn't even beat Simone Biles. You had two competitors do it, the 41-year-old that we had talked about earlier in the week from Uzbekistan and also an Indian gymnast. They landed not well, but did land the vault of death. That still was not enough to beat Simone Biles. And we really just revel in what we talked about last week, this idea that she's not trying to be the next Michael Phelps. She's just trying to be Simone Biles and put her name out there and her strength and her performances and letting everybody sort of embrace it all.
So the men's basketball team, they beat France.
They did.
But they struggled
again. Yeah.
I think there's too much partying on that cruise ship. Time to buckle down, boys.
I told you. I don't remember if it was one of you guys talking about the last time they were on a cruise ship was Greece. That's when they got the bronze. Maybe it's the cruise ship thing. France does have, I think it's 3 to 5, and I'm sorry that I can't remember the exact number, but 3 to 5 NBA players.
Yeah,
so it's not like you're just going up against the best in the world. They're also going up against fellow NBA players. We expect to see the U.S. men blow everyone out because they are NBA players. You have to remember.
It's not like it was back when Jordan and those guys were on it.
It's not, which was the first time they used NBA players. The world has advanced in its basketball skills. And again, your NBA players that do not all play on the same team. This is a team sport. There are adjustments that have to be made. They're still in the lead position for their group going into the quarterfinals. It would still be an upset if they lose. Close games are probably good for them. I'm going to guess that Coach K might like some of the close games here just to remind them you haven't won anything yet.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so, all right, one more story here that I'm really interested in.
There were so many.
There
really are.
Many.
I know.
We're like skipping past
I know. We have so many to talk about. Russian long jumper Daria how do you say her name?
Klishina, I believe.
Klishina,
We'll go with Klishina.
She's going to be competing at the Rio Olympics after her ban was struck down. There have been a couple of those instances. There was a swimmer also who Katie Ledecky was sort of like, I'm not a fan of her being in the water. And now this long jumper.
What's interesting about this is, remember, the entire Russian U.S. track and field team was banned across the board. They were not going to compete. She was able to come back, and they just ruled that she will be able to compete. They didn't say what the new information was, and they obviously had to pass several tests. But if you just look at her background, she spent several years in the U.S. She's won European championships, but she's also been training, competing in the U.S. That may have played into it. On her Facebook page, she posted that she's tested clean time and time again, and that she was not testing clean in this Russian doping sort of era within that system. So the system that's under question, what she's saying is, that's not where I tested clean. I tested clean over here. I'm a clean athlete. Let me compete. You hope that is the case, and that this is one of the athletes who should be out there competing, that you don't want their Olympics taken away. But it's definitely raised eyebrows again, because she will be the only Russian in track and field, unless somebody else gets something overturned, that we'll watch competing.
Wow. We will definitely be watching. Dana Jacobson, always fun to have you.
You too. I'll see you tomorrow.
Got it.